So talking about faith and faith, fate and faith, the younger generation, what would be your message to them in terms of, we all have this grand design about what we want to do, where we want to go, and the path that we think can lead us there. As you just said, with the horrific injury, you had thoughts on where you were going to go with athletics. It didn't work. You had the faith to continue to push, and now you're at a place where you may not have even arrived if you would have stuck with athletics. Mm-hmm. So many times in the younger generation now, once a road ends or an opportunity changes or shifts, there's this notion to give up, to chase another dream and not the dream that you want. What would be your message to them in terms of how to regulate what you think your fate is and how faith plays a part in that?
So I think first and foremost, I would say define what your purpose is and be honest with yourself on what that is. And figure out the steps that you're going to need to accomplish that. And that's not saying, looking 10 years from now, it's saying, what do I need to do right now to be better? What do I need to do tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, to be better? And, those building blocks, they formulate into your purpose. They're leading down that path of your purpose. And oftentimes people, when one door closes, God opens a window.
Yeah.
So, something that you may look as a failure, God's like, that's a detour, and I'm just shifting and realigning you so you have better views on what your purpose is. And I've gone through it many times. I'm sure you guys can relate to it. Being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, you have to be your biggest fan. You have to motivate yourself to get up and pursue that passion. Days you don't feel like it, days you do feel like it. You still have to wake up, put a smile on your face, and chip away and say, okay, today, what do I need to do? Now, I don't want to go to the gym. I want to eat this donut. But if I eat this donut, it's not going to help me 2 days from now, a year from now, So let me put money in the bank that's going to actually result in the purposeful future that I want. So I just tell them, stick to the path. In life, it's all a race, and you're in your own lane. And oftentimes people are so consumed with trying to be in someone else's lane and saying, well, God, why does their house look bigger? Why does this happen? And why are they getting their blessings now? And God's like, you have no idea. If you stay the course, stay focused, what I have for you exceeds what you are seeing. And if you keep looking to the left and the right, you're never going to finish that race because you're always worried about what the next person is doing. Just stay the course, stay focused.
And to that point, with social media the way it is now, right? Like, how do you navigate that? Because social media can have you thinking a whole nother way. Like you watching other people and you're like, oh, I knew her. We came up together. Now she's doing this. And in reality, most of what you see on social media,
I've seen it firsthand.
Right? It is
already.
It's a facade.
It's a facade.
It's a facade. It really is. And I think social media is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you're able to use that platform to propel yourself in your career and whatever your purpose is. It's a curse to those who are not grounded in who they are and are not aware that, what people show are the highlight reels of their life. People don't show, the downs, they don't show the failures, they don't show the sadness. A lot of people want to put that best foot forward to impress other, keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Right.
And for me, I look at social media and I take it like a grain of salt because I'm like, some people are on there. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, this is great. And it's like, if that's true, I'm happy for you.
Perfect, right?
But Lord knows what's happening behind closed doors, so make sure you're focused on what you're doing and you're not consumed with, oh man, this person just got a Grammy. This person just got this. Like, where am I? Now you're taking the focus off of what you need to do. And now you're, deterring your progress. So,
I'm tracking with your sister. I'm the same way when it comes to that. I've always said that as a public figure, as a so-called entertainer or whatnot, I think it's our responsibility if we're going to be on social media. If we're going to endorse certain great things about life, hey, I'm wearing these type of shoes, I'm wearing these clothes, I got this kind of chain on or whatever, you can also endorse things that make sense.
Yes.
It's going to help better your community.
Exactly.
And that's one of the reasons why I go on there and I talk about mental health. I talk about the ups and the downs of my life. How important do you believe it is for public figures to share a little bit more of that? And still, I think there's a fine line we get, because I've been told, hey, don't put too much on there. You still got to put a perception out there. People don't want to hear your bad news all the time. So there has to be a balance.
Yeah, I agree.
But I believe it is important that we show true to life, hey, we're human just like everybody else.
Yeah. God's working with me on that because I'm such a private person, right? And I find avenues and outlets to, show a bit of myself, like through my acting. Oftentimes people will come up to me and be like, oh, I didn't think you'd be like goofy or funny or like down to earth. I'm like, what you talking about? But so it's like finding outlets through like doing comedy on social media just to kind of show that side of me. God has been working with me to be more open as far as, being vulnerable and talking about, the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. Because a lot of people will see and they're like, oh man, things are great. And I'm like, hey, Jesus, how about? I was like, they're great by God's grace, but you don't see, the opportunities that at one point I saw were failures, but have, pulled the lessons out of them. But you don't see the things I had to do to pull myself out of certain situations that I anticipated one way. And God said, no, sweetheart, it's this way, and it's like, oh, okay. I've learned not to question God. So I'm definitely in a season of being more expressive and letting people in and seeing the journey, because you never know who will see that and who will get inspired by that, because, you have to inspire yourself. You have to motivate yourself, but it helps knowing that at least I can inspire someone else. Like, we can inspire each other. Hold me accountable. Right. I need it, so.
And that's what I was talking about. I think the failures are more important sometimes than the success.
Oh, absolutely.
And to show the failures, to let people know, hey, man, like we was in here talking with Hebrew on another episode, the artist named Hebrew Brentley. And he was talking about what people see are the success stories. They don't see how many times he balled up a painting or whatever and things just didn't work out for him or whatever. And I think it's important for us to actually show, hey, this is what I've gone through to get here. Yeah. This is the lesson I learned from that.